What's happening, bros? Viper here and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today I have for you something a little bit different from the usual. Obviously we do so many custom tactics videos to help you guys out, but today we do have a custom tactics video, but it's more of a formation guide, so make sure you watch it all the way through as we're going to be explaining how to use the 3-5-2 correctly and the custom tactics I set up with using the 3-5-2. Do you need cheap, reliable coins? Check out MMOEXP for the cheapest coins on the market and use code VIPER to get 5% off. And this is a very, very different formation this year. It hasn't been good for years on FIFA. You would never consider using it since Champs has been introduced. It's never been good enough, but this year it's certainly back in a big way. And yeah, it's probably my favourite formation on the game. That is why we're starting the formation guide with this formation. Few things I want to note before we get into the custom tactics. It's very, very important that your three centre-backs are very, very fast. We've got Marquinhos, Kimpembe and Virgil. And obviously Virgil is not the quickest, so he has to go into the middle centre-back spot. Whoever your slowest centre-back is has to go into the middle centre-half spot. And that is why we play Virgil there. So let's get into the custom tactics so you can actually have a look at them. They're quite in-depth. They don't look on the surface here like they are too much in-depth. But the instructions are very, very different to the normal that you'd see on a custom tactics video. That is kind of because of the formation, but there are a few new instructions that I've been using that are very, 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 very good on this game that I've never ever used on FIFA before. They have been on FIFA for years, but I've just never really got into them. But this year they're very, very good. So to start off with, we're on balance. We don't want to be too aggressive. Obviously, we're at a 3 at the back anyway. So if we go into a press after possession loss, we're going to suffer quite a lot because it's 3 centre-backs. There's not enough pace there to really use this tactic. The only other really good one that you could use here, which I don't recommend even though it is really super OP, is drop back. Obviously you'll sit really deep then, you'll get a lot of the blocks off and be able to hit on the counter attack. It's not my style though, I wouldn't recommend it either. Balanced is the best for what we're going for here. You've got 50 width. Obviously, this is a bit strange because it's a free back. So the width is just, I think it's best to have it normal. I haven't really tested it in any other scenarios of, 40 or 60. So I'm not really sure if this is better with any more width. I'd say it isn't, but I can't say for sure. But I would definitely recommend keeping this on 50. Depth, if you have, for example, Lacroix, St. Just, players with over 85 pace at centre-back, you can push this up to like 65. Obviously, we have some of the best centre-backs on the game, but they're not the fastest. So we have to try and take a bit more care, and that is why I've only got it on 55. I do like playing a high line on FIFA, but this year I feel like you get kind of, unless you have the fastest centre-backs, you get kind of destroyed without having, if you have a 70 depth or something, which I used to play last year, you'll just get destroyed in this game. So that is why I've got it on a bit lower, but we are still over the average because we do like to play a high line. If you don't like playing a high line, feel free to drop this down a bit deeper to 45-40. But I don't like to invite pressure onto myself. I like to control the games, and that is what we're trying to go for with the 3-5-2. We've got players in so many positions, so we want to control the game. That's another reason for having the depth a bit higher so we can win the ball a bit higher up the park. Moving on to the offense, we have balanced here as well. I've tried fast build up. I do quite like fast build up, just not in this formation. Long ball's really good as well. You could try this out on this formation. I found this to be quite successful. But from what I've played, balance is just the best. But long ball is no joke either. So if you do want to try play this, feel free to. It's very, very good for the wide players in this team. Reason for that, I'll show you in a moment. But yeah, long ball is very, very good with the setup instructions that we do have. So if you do want to try play that, give it a go. But your two options here are really balanced and long ball. Direct passing is something that I really, really like in the 3-5-2. Seems to be the best. I like the driven passing to the striker. They're always sitting on the centre backs, your strikers here, which is quite nice when you have a dribbler like Bernardo Silva setting up the chances, as he's very, very, very quick at turning and he's able to get the direct balls into the strikers very, very quickly. That's why we like that. I don't really recommend any of the other ones here. Forward runs is too aggressive. This is quite good in the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. But other than that, possession's okay. More of a 4-2-3-1 setup though, in my opinion. So that's why we've gone for balanced here. Width is very, very high. Reason being for this, we want our wide players to be wide, and the reason for the wide players being wide is so we can drive down the line, get to the byline, and do the R1X into the box to get an easy tap in, or you can even do double X's into the box when you get onto the byline to create a really good chance and a little sweaty opportunity for you guys to get a very, very easy goal. Players in the box is high for the exact same reason, because once we get down to the byline, there's a lot of players there ready to receive the ball. So high players in the box is quite effective. The more you go up on this though, the more likely you are to get hit on the break. That is why you need fast centre backs in the 3-5-2. So that is why we've gone for that. Corners and free kicks, make sure you have both of these on 2. For some reason, when you have them on 2, the defensive kind of the way the team sets up to deal with the corner counter is better than if you have it on 1. Don't know why this is, but that's how it sets up, and it's better for that. I concede a lot of goals from corner counters, and I also score a lot of goals from corner counters on this game. They're very, very overpowered, so make sure you do have this on 2 to get the most cover you can get, but always play it short of corners, never go into the box, because if you don't win that header and the keeper catches it or they get a knockdown, they can break out very quickly, and it's no brainer for you. You don't want that to happen, so make sure you have this on 2. Moving on to the instructions, there's a few very, very important things here for you guys to look at, so make sure you are paying attention here, okay? So first of all, 2 strikers are both on stay forward, and that's it. You'd think at face level, but we also have conservative interceptions on. Reason being is we just want them there. We don't want them being aggressive, getting into tackles. We just want them in the right position for when we break out or when we have a good opportunity to attack. We don't want them getting involved in any tackles. We want them in the right spot at all times. That is why conservative interceptions is on for them. It's also on for the cam as well. Reason being the same reason for the strikers. I found this very, very effective. I've also tried aggressive interceptions. Does not work on the attackers at all. Talking of aggressive interceptions though, we actually have Kevin De Bruyne on aggressive interceptions. Reason being is because he's a kind of floater. Probably not the right word to use, but he's a guy that can roam around the pitch, ping the passes about, so he can get aggressive interceptions because he is the one who's going to be roaming around the park quite a lot. He's also on cover centre. Fofana, who is our CDM, is on stay back and cover centre. I tried aggressive interceptions on him as well. Don't like it. It's far too much. You'll end up getting passed through quite easily if you've got aggressive interceptions on too many players. So that is why we've got them on. Well, we've got him on normal interceptions this time. But the reason we've got aggressive on De Bruyne is because he is the free roamer, and we want the opposition to be worried and be forced into a quick pass. That is why De Bruyne is on this. And yeah, he's the one that goes forward. You definitely need a CDM in this formation that goes forward, and he is our man for that job, and he's so good at it. He's brilliant for it. Now moving on to our wide players, the most important players in the team in my personal opinion. 2 things we've got on these. I actually did try aggressive interceptions on these as well. Did not like it, and you don't want conservative because they do need to get stuck in. They do sometimes offer almost like a 5-back for us. That's why we've got them on comeback, but they also offer great counter-attacking opportunities as well. And that's the reason we've got 2 relatively physical players out wide here. Obviously, Inaki's really, really physical. That's really nice for barging players off the ball when he's defending. And Rashford's also okay at doing this as well. So that's why we've both got them on comeback. Stay wide as well for the same reason I was telling you earlier. To get down to the byline, we don't want them supporting in the middle. We've already got too much support in the middle. If you do look at this, it does kind of work as a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow through the middle. If you look at the spine, it's a very, very, very narrow formation, but with 2 wide players just stuck out wide, and we want them to stay wide. Basically, think of these guys as fullbacks. When the game develops more, what you're going to want here is like a promo version of Goosens. As an example, really high pace, good defending, good physical, good shooting, good passing. Kind of an all-rounder. We don't have that at the moment, as we have to make do with just physical players to make up for the poor defending that they have. So that is why we've got them both on comeback and stay wide. Moving on to the centre-backs. I did try these on a few different settings. I tried them on aggressive interceptions. Once again, too dangerous, too aggressive. I don't recommend that one bit. can maybe get away with aggressive on your middle centre-back and let the 2 other fast centre-backs cover for you. But I wouldn't recommend it. Step up is really good if you are a really aggressive player. I mean, you want to catch the opposition offside quite a lot. But I just find it a bit too risky because of the centre-backs I have. If my outside centre-backs were 85 pace plus, I'd then consider putting step up on the inside defence. But because they're not, I'd rather not risk it. And the one last thing I want to tell you about this formation, guys, is make sure you have a left-footed centre-back if you can. Make sure you play him on the left and you play the right on the right. I mean, whoever's in the middle can be whatever foot. It doesn't really matter. But one thing you will notice as well with the formation and the players I've got in centre-back, they're all relatively good at passing, right? 80, 75 there. Marquinhos is the best for this as well with 74, 84, 85. And Virgil's also quite good as well. That's also why we've got a catalyst on him to boost his passing up. So yeah, he's got okay vision, 79, 86 passing respectively. And yeah, that's how we like the formation. It's very important to have your centre-backs have good passing. We have that in abundance here, which really does help us when we're building out from the back. And that is why we like that as well. So guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to go get into some gameplay. I'm going to go play a Champs playoff game. And I'm going to show you the highlights that kind of explain how good this formation is and why it's so effective. So let's go get into that and see how we get on. All right, lads, so into the game we go. If he does ready up, that is. He does. What are we facing? Good MS there as well. Oh, wow. That's a good team, that. Let's get into the gameplay and see how we get on. He's got to be off, isn't he not? Good defending from Virgil there. See, guys, that's what you get there. It's very compact at the back, and then we can break out very quickly. Back into De Bruyne. De Bruyne's going to wait for Rashford, but then we've got the switch on here to Inaki. Inaki's on a crazy run there. He's won the header, though. Don't be afraid as well, guys, to drive out with your wide centre-backs. So I'm going to say good passing-wise, you can drive out with them. As you can see there, we just kind of managed to get out a little bit better there with Marquinhos. Now we're in a bit of space. Bernardo's in a bit of space, and that should have been 1-0. But that's a great example, I think, guys, of what you get with the 3-5-2 there. Let's get back into the gameplay and see how we get on, though. Get to Rashford. Oh, no, we've got Rashford there still, though. Marcus into Ronaldo. Ronaldo, and that should be 1-0, and it is. There we go. And he's going to rage quit. Is he? He's going to rage quit, boys. That's crazy. Very short for the formation guide, but I did manage to show you a few things there in 11 minutes. I'm not going to do another game. I think that would be silly to get into another game. But yeah, we're 1-0 in playoffs, and hopefully what I did manage to show you there, guys, does make sense. And yeah, boys, very easy. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Just like anyway, please. It does help out the algorithm. So yeah, take care, lads, and I'll see you in the next video.